Chapter 1400, Year Beast Army, Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. The tunnel deep within the center of the sand whirlpool seemed to extend endlessly underground. The deeper Feng Zhuge went, the more he could feel the time path aura getting denser. Suddenly from the darkness, there was a shining spark. Inside the darkness, this light was extremely eye-catching. It was shining in a brass color. A wild mortal goo? Feng Zhuge flew closer and saw a rank 3-day goo. Daegu looked like a shell with the size of a child's palm. It was round with 2 fins on its sides. The fins moved around as the shell swam in the darkness gently. Compared to Year Beast, Daegu was much more common. It could be found anywhere in the 5 regions and 2 heavens. What got Feng Zhuge's attention was the fact that the river of time was filled with a vast number of Daegu, month goo, and year goo to begin with. There were wild Daegu here. Was there a tributary of the river of time like he thought? Tributaries of the river of time were a commonly seen yet rare cultivation resource. Commonly seen because every goo immortal's immortal aperture had a tributary of the river of time. It allowed time to flow within the immortal aperture's world. But rare because inside the 5 regions and 2 heavens, there were few tributaries of the river of time, yet their scale was much larger than those inside immortal apertures. Once they appeared, super forces would fight for them using great strength. If lone immortals found them, they would try to conceal them and use them to gain a fortune themselves. Not only were time path goo worms needed by time path goo masters or goo immortals, they were very widely used in goo refinement. For example, Day Goo, this rank 3-day goo, has 3 days worth of time in it. If one had the relevant refinement path method, by expending this rank 3-day goo, they could shorten the time needed for goo refinement by 3 days. There were also time path lifespan extension methods using day goo, month goo, and year goo to increase lifespan. Of course, these methods had flaws and would carve time path Dao marks in the person's body. When these Dao marks accumulated, they would not be able to use lifespan goo in the future. But lifespan goo were hard to find if one did not have any, and their lifespan was at its end. Would they not use these methods? If there is a tributary of the river of time here, Shadow Sect must have found it and secretly hid it here. Feng Zhuge continued to delve deeper. Soon he saw more and more wild time path goo worms. Day goo, month goo, year goo, and more. A white ripple of light appeared in front of Feng Zhuge. This ripple was the size of a bed. It was like the ripples on the surface of a lake, completely silent. Feng Zhuge slowed down cautiously. This was a ripple of time, a special phenomenon. Like wind in the desert, fog in the mountains, and rain from the sky. Ripples of time were a natural phenomenon as well. Any life form which entered a ripple of time would be affected. Their time would become faster. They would grow older more quickly. They could also become slower. The world would seem to move faster from their perspective. But regardless of fast or slow, their lifespan would be shaved away. Feng Zhuge did not dare to test it. He slowed down and detoured around it. After leaving the ripple of time, Feng Zhuge let out a breath of air. He was even more certain now that there was a tributary of the river of time here. Heavenly Court's goo immortals have already pointed out to him that Red Lotus' true inheritance was hidden in the Stone Lotus Islands. If Fang Yuan wanted to inherit it, he would need to enter the river of time. And to get into the river of time, the best way was to find a tributary of the river of time. This tributary of the river of time was like an entrance. It had to be big enough to enter. The tributary of the river of time in a goo immortal's immortal aperture was not big enough. Only a tributary of the river of time in the 5 regions and 2 heavens had an almost similar rate at which time flowed. As the river of time, it could allow goo immortals to enter. More and more ripples of time started to appear in front of Feng Zhuge. The deeper he went, the larger the tunnel became. At first, there were only a few time path mortal goo, but they increased in numbers when he got to the deepest part. There were goo worm groups of at least 100 per group. The time path aura was getting denser. Feng Zhuge could even hear the sound of flowing water. Next, in his vision, he saw a long line. As Feng Zhuge got closer, this line got larger. until it became the form of a river. A tributary of the river of time. Feng Zhuge's heart shook. It was indeed here. But where are Fang Yuan and the others? Feng Zhuge had just thought of this when a figure emerged from a ripple of time near him, pouncing at him. Feng Zhuge immediately dodged as bright light shined in his eyes. An immortal killer move was instantly activated. Sound path silence surpasses sound. Feng Zhuge cultivated sound path and aspired to create 9 songs to represent everything in this world. He had already created 7 songs currently. Separation Song was one of them. But other than his 7 songs, he also had other sound path methods. Sound path killer, move silence surpasses sound was one of them. Feng Zhuge had practiced it a lot. He was extremely familiar with it. His activation succeeded instantly. He started to punch with his fist and strike with his palm, attacking the black shadow from a distance. This was a killer move, with his fist as the drum fist and his palm as the bell palm. It was the content of Spirit Affinity House's 3 Sounds True Inheritance. Within the 3 Sounds True Inheritance, other than drum fist and bell palm, there was also whistle finger. But Feng Zhuge had not learned it yet. He had only practiced this with the aim of covering some shortages of methods in battle. That huge shadow monster was growling from Feng Zhuge's attacks. But the strange thing was, its growling vanished the moment it opened its mouth. Feng Zhuge's drum fist created drumming noises, while his bell palm created bell chimes. But at this moment there was no sound produced here. Soon Feng Zhuge had the upper hand. His attacks became fiercer as the monster became dazed from the attacks. It could not retaliate. Feng Zhuge also saw that the thing that assaulted him was a year beast. Monkey year beast. And it was only a desolate beast. It was not an ancient desolate beast. Otherwise, it would not be suppressed so easily. Feng Zhuge squinted. In the river of time, not only were there wild time path goo worms, there were also wild beasts and plants. Year beasts were rare in the 5 regions, but they were common in the river of time. But was this desolate level year beast arranged by Fang Yuan? Or was it truly wild? Feng Zhuge was considering this problem. The answer to this would mean that Fang Yuan had either found his traces or not. Year beast. Fang Yuan watched the battle as he connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven. In Treasure Yellow Heaven, there were actually people selling year beasts openly. This was very rare. Fang Yuan was deeply enticed. These year beasts were either desolate beasts or ancient desolate beasts. If he could buy them and enslave them, they would be a huge force. Don't forget about his 180 slaves immortal killer move. By then, using these year beasts and 180 slaves killer move, Fang Yuan could even enslave immemorial year beasts. Even though he lost the upper extreme heavenly eagle, if he could get immemorial year beasts, Fang Yuan would get another rank 8 battle strength. But the problem was, the seller wanted to make huge transactions. Fang Yuan naturally wanted to buy all of the year beasts, but he was not the only one. His greatest weakness was that he did not have enough funds. If he wanted to buy the year beasts, he would need to sell the desolate beast eagles and ancient desolate beast eagles he bought earlier. Of course, Fang Yuan could sell immortal goo, but he would not do that unless he had no choice. During the Battle of the Dream Realm, Fang Yuan had to do that to survive. But now, it was not a situation of life and death. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was making his decision now. He received many offers, but there were only 3 that moved him. One directly offered immortal essence stones, a vast number of them. It was hard to imagine that someone would actually have so many immortal essence stones, even 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was shocked. The second one offered a lot of immortal materials of all kinds. What moved 1,000 transformations? Ancestor was that among them were a lot of transformation path immortal materials. The third buyer was also very sincere. He wanted to use eagle beasts to exchange for year beasts. 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was currently cultivating a type of eagle transformation. This buyer's offer suited him. While 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was hesitating. One of the 3 buyers offered a new high price. They are willing to offer immortal goo? 1,000 transformations. Ancestor was shocked and surprised. He did not hesitate anymore. He agreed to the transaction. All of the year beasts were sold to one Gu immortal. The transaction ended quickly, be it the buyer's deep foundation and offer, or 1,000 transformations. Ancestor's quick decision, they were shocking. Western Desert, inside the moving sand tunnel. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The monkey year beast screamed shrilly. But its screams vanished due to Feng Zhuge's killer move. In this silent battle, the monkey year beast could not resist Feng Zhuge. It was brutally slaughtered. Feng Zhuge inspected and found that this monkey year beast was truly a wild, desolate beast. He took it as his spoils of battle and kept it in his immortal aperture. The entire battle only lasted for a short while. Feng Zhuge had evidently not used his true power. Eliminating a desolate level year beast was too simple. He did not need to rest. He continued to travel towards the tributary of the River of Time. The closer he got, the clearer the tributary of the River of Time became. River water was flowing. Ripples were shining. The river was silently moving in this darkness. How? How? Suddenly, from the tributary of the River of Time, several year beasts flew out and attacked Feng Zhuge. Feng Zhuge was slightly shocked. I was discovered? Earlier at that instant, he felt the aura of an immortal killer move. The year beasts that attacked were quite powerful. There were 5 desolate level year beasts and 3 ancient year beasts. Feng Zhuge snorted. His battle intent surged. Since he was discovered, he no longer needed to restrain himself in battle. Come out, Fang Yuan, Feng Zhuge lightly called out. But at the next moment, his pupils shrunk. More year beasts were coming out from the tributary of the River of Time. In an instant, there were more than 10 year beasts. And more were continuing to attack as they came out of the tributary of the River of Time. What is going on? Is there a group of year beasts near this tributary of the River of Time?